northern Israel has killed at least 44 people. The crush happened at a gathering for tens of thousands of ultra-Orthodox Jews on Mount Meron. Our correspondent Harry Fawcett's near the scene. He's going to be updating us shortly. First, this report from Sarah Khairat.
Emergency services rushed to the scene where tens of thousands of ultra-Orthodox Jews had gathered for the Lag BaOmer annual pilgrimage. What started off as an all-night gathering of prayer and dance at the bonfire festival ended with these chaotic scenes.
You know, I hate to see any type of death, especially mass death like this. So the first thing I would say is RIP to those who lost their life. But you have to ask yourself, what's the coincidence of this going down after the mandate, the bill that just was passed in Israel?
Bodies of those killed in a stampede are lined up. Hundreds of people are injured.
Provided first aid to those who were injured at the site. We sent backup teams, 200 ambulances, motorcycles, mobile intensive care units, helicopters to the scene in order to transport and evacuate those who were injured and killed to the hospitals.
Considered to be one of the holiest sites for Jews, the tomb of the 2nd century sage Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is what brings the faithful here. Around 30,000 pilgrims were gathered on Mount Meron, 3 times the capacity of what was allowed by the authorities. Organisers say more than 650 buses had brought in people from across the country, making it the largest public gathering in Israel since the pandemic started.
All of a sudden we saw paramedics from Madam, whatever, running by, like mid CPR on kids, and then one after the other started coming out in ambulances. Then we understood like something's going on here.
Private bonfires at Mount Meron were banned last year due to coronavirus restrictions. The lockdown measures were eased this year after Israel's rapid COVID-19 vaccination program has seen more than 50% of the population fully vaccinated. Police say they've arrested 2 people for disrupting officers' efforts to keep order at the site. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has described the stampede as a heavy disaster. Sarah Khairat, Al Jazeera.
Okay, let's talk to Harry Fawcett, who's on the scene. Harry, Sarah's package there just showing us some of the chaos and fear that there was at the event. What's the latest that we know about this?
Well, yes, it was a dreadful event, as you just saw in those pictures, and it's been written on the faces of some of the people we've been speaking to here as well. We had been barred from getting further access than this police checkpoint until just a couple of minutes ago when they've said that we can get further in. But all the way up to here, we've been seeing stragglers from the events overnight trying to get lifts, getting on buses, and we've talked to a couple of them. One young man said that it was a crime carried out by the police.
I want you guys to remember this, how these people are trying to get lifts, trying to get buses, and trying to get out of where they're at. The Most High is starting to defend his own.
Accusing the police of preventing people from getting access to one potential exit route out of the crush. Another man said that he had watched it take place from a distance and he saw people slipping down a series of steps on top of each other, and that it was an unavoidable consequence of that there were going to be deaths and injuries. I also asked him if he had ever felt unsafe at this event before. This is an event that attracts some 500,000 people over a series of days every year. Not last year because of the pandemic, but in a typical year. And he said yes, every time. He said it was a miracle that nothing like this had happened before because of the lack of organization, because of the difficulty of access for emergency services, and for the sheer sort of chaos and crush that attends each time that this biggest religious festival in Israel takes place. So as well as the buses which have been coming to evacuate the last remaining festival goers, there have also been buses bringing more police in to carry out a major investigation into how this happened, and there will be answers that will be sought from quarters, both in terms of the organizers, in terms of the police, in terms of the government, for allowing us to go ahead in such great numbers, in such a small, under-resourced, under-equipped, it seems.
So now that we got more information, let's get into this. A stampede at a religious festival in northern Israel killed at least 44 people and injured more than 150. Medical officials said on Friday it was one of the country's deadliest civilian disasters. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said children were among the dead and declared a national day of mourning Sunday. Rest in peace to all the children who passed. But I want you guys to see something. I want you guys to check something out. Now, as this is going on, and I think it's not a coincidence that it was 45 people who passed away. Okay? The incident occurred during celebrations of Lag BaOmer, a Mount Meron, the resting place of the 2nd century sage and mystic Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Now check this out. Just days before this, Israel orders 45 black Hebrew Israelites to leave the country in 60 days. The community started to come together in the 1960s in Chicago, subscribing to the theology promulgated by Ben Carter, a black Baptist who changed his name to Ben Amna Ben Israel. Now, this is the thing. These people tried to go for full citizenship, and they said, that's it. We just want you out the country. When this was our country to begin with. This is what they wrote. This is our home. Black Hebrew Israelites in shock after Israel announces the deportation plan. But don't fret that, because even when they think that they're outing you, it's all a part of a bigger plan by the Most High. Get out of Israel. You're not going to want to be there. The Most High about to destroy that place. Despite living in Israel for decades, black Israelites are being judged as not being authentically Jewish and face deportation as a result. No, we're not Jewish. We're the true Jews. We're not pretending to. We are it. Just remember that the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower. So get up out of that place. Don't fight the Lord's hand. He don't want you there for a reason. We already know that Israel and the earth is going to be destroyed. So get up out of there right now. Let the Most High curse that land more for the inhabitants who took over your identity. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. Now, this ain't no hate towards any group. It's love for my group, for the true Jews. I'm from the tribe of Judah, and for the rest of Israel. And they want to make you feel funny for even feeling that, for even saying that. Look what happened to Deshaun. Look what happened to Nick Cannon for saying that they were Jews. This earth is all the way against the children of Israel. But be rejoiced, because it lets you know you're the children of Israel, because this earth is against you. At least the inhabitants of the earth, the leaders of this earth. By Shema Mashiach Brakatah, all praises to the Most High. It is back to these laws, and it's almost over now. Real quick before I go, why is everybody able to believe what they want to believe except for us? A man can say he's a woman can say he's a man, but we can't say we true Jews without it be called hate. This ain't got nothing to do with hate. It has to do with love and what we believe. How can one be persecuted for what he believes? Are we supposed to pretend we don't believe it? Man, y'all stay safe out there. This earth is getting more wicked by the moment.